Knows are better. What is it?
Well, there's the audio too, you have that, you'll have that.
That's true.
Yeah, we'll have
It's
it.
gonna help me because I can't read lips with these on.
I know, it is very hard.
So, February 2021 town clerk's report, we took in from the planning board, subdivision fee of 125, recreation fee 400, and a lot line application for 100. Dog licenses, the town took in $44. The community house lease, $1,000. Building permits, $1,390.80. Certificates of occupancy, $300. Town clerk fees interest, 5 cents. Solid waste, $6.50. Total checks for the general fund is $3,366.35. $1,000 for trust and agency. Paid to New York State Department of Ag and Markets was $14, and paid to Columbia County Solid Waste $48.50. Total for February was $4,428.85.
All right, thank you, Tracy. We'll accept the clerk's report. Thank you. Mail review. Do you have anything that came in that we need to share? Anything in mail? Nothing important?
Only what we've discussed.
Okay, yeah, I'll go over that in a little bit.
That.
Yep, and that. All right.
Excuse me, yeah, I meant to talk to her about it before, but the transmission line computer, they
Oh,
want.
they came in and updated the computer for the.
Yeah, I saw the email. I wasn't sure if,
They actually said that we're the first one that had it out and plugged in.
Hey, thank you, Chris.
yeah,
Wow,
So that's good. Well, that's for anybody that's interested.
good name.
yeah.
We do have the
Want the A+.
computer available with the information on there for the transmission lines if somebody would like to come in. So we do have it here. So thank you again, Chris, for taking care of that.
Sure.
First ones, huh?
Yeah.
Wow.
We probably got the smallest.
And we have the smallest portion, right?
She came in Saturday morning
Yeah.
to update it.
The Shannon? Yeah, all right, perfect, thank you. Correspondence for web committee. Any comments, complaints? Guess we're doing all right, we're doing good, all right. We'll move on to committee reports. Bob?
Okay, first I did drive in there yesterday and took a look, and with all the rain and snow and everything, the path up to the Veterans Monument doesn't look like a stone has been moved. Okay, so, and I mentioned that to Jimmy, and he said he wasn't surprised. I was. But it's looking, doesn't mean it won't ever wash out, but it's looking pretty good. So, the other thing I did want to do is just take a couple minutes to kind of look at, park, 10 to 12 years ago, what we had for park and recreation in Claremont was a Little League field on land that we did not own. That was it, okay? And over those years, little by little, steady moving along, we now have one of the premier Little League fields in the county. In fact, George Schmidt was going out to a Little League game one day, about a year or more ago. He said he told his wife, we're going to take his son to the Little League game. He said, well, it's been raining all day, you won't be able to play. And George said, we're playing in Claremont. And they did. Because the drainage is so good on that field that even though it had rained all day, the field was still good and they were able to play. Okay, and it's been recognized as one of the premier fields in the area. We also have the swings. We have the blacktop in the basketball hoop. And we have remediation has been done. That did cost us quite a bit of money from the town. Everything else has been donations or grants that we've done. We've spent very little taxpayer money on any of the things other than remediation. And we've now got soccer fields over there. We've got walking trails that are maintained. So we've come a long way in 10 or 12 years. And there's more to go. And we will, but I think slow and steady, it works. And, I was, You can pass that word on. to
I
them.
will,
Yeah.
thank you.
Well, the main thing is we have not passed it down to the taxpayers, which is a big, big thing. So I think we can proceed as far as we can with make a minimal impact to taxpayers. Because I hate to say this, because it's a park, and it's for the kids and, you know, for the elderly, there's quite a few people that just don't really care. They don't care if we do anything. So, you know, we got to balance out, and that's why if we can do it without affecting the tax roll, I think everybody can be happy with it. It just takes a little longer, so.
Yeah, I think that is an important remark to make because of the amount of work and the improvement that's been made so far and what it costs the taxpayers.
Proportional
Nothing.
to the cost is pretty,
It's amazing.
That's exactly it, Lindsay. That's why I wanted to highlight that.
yeah.
One quick question Bob reminded me. Did we ever get anything back from the state on the report from all the wells?
No. I've not received anything back.
Hmm.
Not at all. I have to check with Morse or CPO because they actually were the middleman.
Okay,
But I will have to follow up on that because we didn't receive anything as far as I know.
okay. Maybe
They've been
no
paid,
news is
right?
good news.
Yeah, yeah. I'll find out.
Yeah, that's a good question, Bob, thank you.
Okay. Okay, Lindsay?
Yeah, well, I guess most of my committee report was covered in the workshop, and I agree with Bob, we've made great progress, and I think, you know, it's just figuring out this year what can we do as the next manageable steps for the committee and for the town as well, given our resources. The other report is just that the Climate Task Force is going to present a resolution maybe next month
Maybe,
or
yeah.
the following one. And if there is anyone who's interested in participating in the Climate Task Force, I think that it's open for any interested parties.
You said, well, we have David and Susanna Bradley, who I think has a connection with a solar company, has
Yep.
joined the committee, and
And
today.
then Jeff Scales is
Yes.
also interested, who is investment advisor on like green, sustainable investments, and so has some experience in examining like solar and just basically all sort of the sustainability opportunities that we might have. He's stepped up and is willing to help on the committee.
Okay. We'll be glad to look at any recommendations. You know, if anything we can do with opportunity to save us some money or move us forward with green energy, that's fine.
Yeah, the first step to make the town eligible to apply for any of the improvements that would be offered under the sort of bronze certification sort of pathway, I guess you'd call it, is we have to pass this resolution. So that's what the committee will come to the board with first, to talk through the resolution, what it means, really address any of your questions, and maybe come back the next meeting with some answers.
Is there anything, I know I've brought this up before, is there anything identified with, and I keep coming back to this because you're asking for a resolution to be passed to apply for a grant that we don't know what that grant is for.
Right.
And I remember in our last meeting,
It just makes
we
us eligible for funding.
It just makes us, there's many, many things that we could potentially do, some big, some very small, but to be able to be eligible for those grants at all, is my understanding, to have matching state funding, is that we have
Right.
to say that we're on the path to becoming a climate smart community, the bronze.
But again, those grants are used for a purpose, and we have no identification of
Sure,
any
well,
of
I mean,
those
that's-
purposes. So
That's one of the
correct,
things
right.
that the three and whomever else might be able to address is what are the kinds, more specifically, what are the kind, is this worth it to us to pass this resolution? What are the opportunities that might exist?
right. I mean, I know in our last meeting, Dawn, I asked a lot of questions then as well about how that would look.
Yep.
And again, my concern comes back to the park committee where we had identified a large amount of work that had to be done. We knew what was going to happen. We actually had a list of things that we wanted to do. And the park committee certainly carried that well beyond where we were at the time. And now I feel like we're looking at something, we're potentially looking at forming committees, and we have no idea what that looks like. I
can
still
define
don't
it.
know what that looks like.
Sure, yeah, I mean,
So-
we can set a, in the task force, there is no, we didn't create a timeline for that. If we want to say that this will exist for 2 years or something, that's
Yeah,
fine.
I just see an expansion of the government, even, or our town government, and even though it's voluntary, it's still an extension of the town, and we're expanding the size of our government for the town, and we really have identified nothing for them to
Sure.
do, or
And
what
that's what,
the
I mean,
intent
that's
is.
what, really the first task of this committee is to identify what are the opportunities and is it worth it, or the effort in order to do that. So you're right, at this point, we have not identified anything, and that's one of the first tasks of the group.
I would just feel much more comfortable after, like the park committee, we knew what we were looking at, and we knew that we had a lot of work that we were going to do. We had already identified it. In this case, I feel like we're looking at something and it's saying, okay, this sounds like a good, it actually falls back, as an analogy, goes back to the insurance we were talking about, cybersecurity.
Right.
Okay, it sounds like a great idea, but what are we really insuring? And that was the analogy we had there, and none of us have an answer for it. We still don't.
Yeah, we need to
And
work on that.
and
By the way.
and I think this comes right back to my same train of thought. We're moving forward, talking about making a resolution, expanding our government, the town government, and we've not identified anything yet. And I
Yeah,
kind
we
of
can-
take issue with that.
We can look at any information that's brought to us to see if it warrants to follow through with a resolution. And I think that's where we're at. We need to see something that we want to pursue.
Oh, exactly. But it's not, correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't see this as an expansion of the government. I would see this as giving an opportunity for citizens to get more involved and help move some important initiatives forward. We're not proposing additional staff or, creating more expense for the town necessarily. So I hear you, and I think that what we can ask this group to do is to actually make it much more clear, like, is there a defined, period of time that we'd like to do this over, and what are, some of the specific opportunities that might be available to us if we move forward. I mean, that's a very reasonable request.
Okay.
All right. Anything else, Lindsay?
That's it, that's me.
Good. Chris, you have anything to add?
Nothing other than our new recording device that we're using.
Thank you for getting
I have nothing else. Just so the board is aware of the intent in posting it is, my intention was to pick up the device after our meeting in order to post the audio. And I guess we could talk about this when you're prepared. If the other boards are not going to use it, I would like to know, because my intention was to bring it home and get the audio, get it posted, and then bring it back in time for the other boards. But if the other boards are not going to use it, there's not such a rush to get it back to the town hall.
Okay.
So
Well, as far as I know, the planning board is proceeding with it unless otherwise notified.
Great.
The zoning board is not going to use it.
Oh, okay.
We'll discuss this real quickly, and I'll mention it right now. We did actually ask the zoning board and planning board to please use the recording instrument for, obviously, the fact that we can collect all the details, all the discussions, and anybody wants to listen to it on the internet. Afterwards, we get all the information from the meeting. I've not heard from planning board as far as I know they're using it and following through, but the zoning board discussed this in their meeting and said that they did not want to use recording, and they took a vote, and it was four votes against using it and one abstained. So I didn't realize that this was going to be an issue. We just thought this would be very simple, record it, everybody can have all the details, have all the information in the meetings. But I did follow up with the attorney and did find out that this is something that we cannot mandate that they use. It is up to each individual board. And if they request not to use it and they voted not to use it, They do not have to use it. So anybody that wants the information from the zoning board will have to attend the meeting in full detail. Obviously, minutes have to be provided from the meeting, and they will be provided from meetings, but they don't always capture every detail of the meeting. So if somebody really is interested, they should be at the meeting to hear all the information.
Okay,
So
great.
as far as I know, the
But
planning board is using it.
the
So
planning board,
if we
okay.
can bring it back to the planning board, yes.
Yep, okay, good to know then.
Thank you.
Is
Thank
there,
you.
and you probably didn't ask the question, but is there anything we can do to suggest to the planning board and zoning board that they improve the content of their minutes?
It could be a kind request, like the town board, we cannot dictate or ask the clerk to take any
Right.
specific minutes. It's basically up to the clerk to take their minutes, and their minutes are their minutes. So we could ask for a little more detail, and if it's provided, fine. If it's not, we can't do a thing about it. So that can be a simple request, yes.
Okay, that's all I had.
And plus, we're the only person that had your thing out on display. It's
Yes.
good. So you want to put that in there, get that plug, you know?
Yeah.
Thank
I
you.
need that plug.
All right, go on.
As I just want to, as a reminder, I did apply for a $2,500 grant to the Bank of Greene County. We should hear middle of April, and it was the handicapped accessible swing, and a lot of like stencils and paint so that they can put some other markings for a basketball court on the court, and that they can also do some. Some other games and things like that, and I can't remember now what the other thing was, but it came to $2,500.
Was it the dog? We didn't talk about that tonight. The dog sign?
No, it was all more recreation, but I can't recall what it is now, but we should hear about that mid-April. The money is usually awarded in the summer. Yesterday, I applied to the Columbia Land Conservancy. They started these new mini grants for municipalities for $500, and I asked for $500 to apply towards the sign.
Okay.
And then,
For the Headland Park sign?
yes,
Oh, cool.
yes.
That's great.
And then this past week, I received notification from the AARP Community Challenge Grant, which we applied for last year. That's due April 14th, I think it is, and I haven't looked at it thoroughly to see what we could apply for. But last year, I know they received like 2,700 applications and did not fund nearly that many. So I'll have to work with the committee to see what's out there for that.
Okay, excellent.
Thank you, Dawn.
They say ARP is for older people, you might want to say we've got walking paths, and we want to pay for benches
Well, last
for the
year,
older people to sit on.
Well, last year
Right.
we applied for benches and
Okay.
also for the materials for the monument path, and we were not funded. They did fund a lot of things last year too. It was for COVID-related things, which was, we did,
Understandable.
yeah.
Good. Thank you, Dawn. All right, old business, move on to some updates. Sales tax, I just want to let everybody know, I mentioned last month that we were on path to receive $116,640.08 as our fourth quarter sales tax payment. Just want to let everybody know, it's on the deposit list that we did receive that amount, that was correct. Just to point out, this past year with all the restrictions and all the COVID challenges, it was predicted to be a very bad year, and we actually were up 8% over the year before, the prior year for the total sales tax collected. So we actually made up very well on sales tax end. We did take some cuts on chips and state funding, but sales tax really helped us survive.
We're going to give it back with interest rates.
And the interest rates are in the toilet, that's next. Yeah.
Well,
So I just want to make sure everybody knows that we did make out.
I think that's great, and I think it's broader than Columbia County. I think a lot of municipalities have been doing much better than predicted. And I just think it's worth going out there with all the COVID and the bad news kind of stuff. I think it's great. So it's some good news, and it does come back and help us.
Again, it's all, comes back to spend local if possible. I say it every time, and I'll say it again. Local spending helps the towns, helps the county, and that's what this comes down to. It's local spending, which is keeps the towns, county moving. So it makes a huge difference. So
I was in the Bank of Greene County last week and saw a sign for home mortgages, I think at 2 point something %. for the life of the mortgage.
Yeah, that's my next conversation here. Bank interest rates. We talked about this a little bit. I said I was gonna make some phone calls, got the Bank of Green County on the phone, because our interest rate, at one point the beginning of the year, it was almost up to 1% we were getting on our bank account. Now we're getting 0.10%. So the bank interest rates have plummeted most recently the last 3 months in a row. They just dropped down to where we are now. I spoke to Don McCormick, which handles the commercial end of the Bank of Green County funding. Talked to him, and he said I wasn't the only one to call. Other towns have been calling. There is just such an influx of money into the banking world, the economy. They have so much money on hand, the PPP loans, just all the information, all the money that's floating around. Their interest rates have just dropped along with everybody else's. He said they're going out for 12 or 15 years trying to get a 1% bond. It's so bad because they can't find a place to invest their money to get any better return. So he said the short term, even the long term, for the next year, he says you cannot expect interest rates to pretty much move. He says they're just going to be down in the toilet, and that's what we're facing now. And I did reach out to the county to find out what they're doing. I know they moved some money around, and I wanted to talk to everybody about that to see what their feeling is. If we want to stretch out and move our money out of county, there is a bank up near the Finger Lakes that the county, they talk a lot more money, so they probably got a little better rate. They got 0.4%, which is quadruple what we're getting, which is really stinks, but it's better than stinking a little bit.
But what is that? Percentage-wise, it's much better, but what is it, the dollar amount actually come
I
out to
didn't
be?
go back and figure that out yet, because I just want to see what the feeling was, if we want to stretch way out that far.
I would look at the value.
They probably put $10 million in there, got a lot better rate than we're going to get for $500,000.
That's what I'm thinking.
So
If
is
we
it
earn
worth it?
$10 and that's 1,000% more than anyone else, it's just not worth it.
I mean, I do have to check with one other bank locally that we can invest in. We have done in Bank of Green County, was going to check, or Kinderbrook we've done before. If they have anything short term that we can get a little better, I feel comfortable doing that, but I don't really like, I don't really want to move out of the county with our money unless it's a really a benefit to us,
If the county's got $10 million to invest out of the county, why are they borrowing money to cover them for COVID?
And raising
That's
taxes.
rhetorical.
Trust me, I know. And why they're raising taxes.
Yeah, exactly.
They have to have $20 million on hand to make payroll and to make the more, this is what I hear all the time, to make the state retirement pension payment, to make all their health insurance payments, they gotta have all the money on hand. So, yeah, well, I don't agree with it, but that's what I hear all the time. So they don't-
I agree with you, Ray. I don't agree.
When I started there before, we had $4 million in the bank, we still made all the payments and got by. Now they got $20 million in the bank, they still don't have enough, and it's not, I don't
Yep.
believe it. But anyway, that's a different story. So,
We can't invest in credit unions,
we
correct?
cannot invest in any credit unions. It has to be state approved, and, it kind of limits us a little bit, and they know that, and then, we're kind of restricted.
And we can't do like CDs.
We can do CDs, but it has to be a state approved bank,
And they're not much better.
The CDs are any
Are
better.
not much better. I went to SEFQ for a year, I got 0.5%.
Yeah, That's a credit union. They're better than,
Right.
than a bank offers, usually, so. I'm gonna do a little more check, like I said, another local bank that I know, but unless you instruct me to do it, which, I'll bring back the information. If we wanna move it out of the county and go farther out, I mean, it's not a big gain. It's not a huge.
Yeah, unless we can identify a big gain, I would say no.
That's
Can
kind of my
it's-
feeling,
Have
Yeah.
you looked into CDs though as an
but
alternative?
that was what I was fishing for.
That-
I
oh,
was
that-
looking for like
yeah.
a 6-month or 9-month or
Yeah.
even a 12-month CD,
Yeah.
and
But now is the best.
he won't do anything.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, the other, I looked at Key Bank, Bank of Green County, and National Bank of Coxsackie. And they were all the same in the toilet.
He says, I would love to
0.1%.
loan you money, because they have $170 million on hand. They said, we'll give you a great rate. If you want a bond for, 0.5% or 1%, they'll do it. But,
Yeah.
we don't want to borrow money, we
Right,
don't need it.
right.
But it's just, that's the nature of where we are, so.
In money market accounts, yeah, there's just nothing to invest in that's gonna get any kind of return.
So the rates to borrow are also down, I
Oh,
assume.
they're way down. So if you need to borrow money for a big project, now's the time to do it. But, why take on debt when we don't need to borrow at this point?
Right.
So anyway, I'll do a little more, and I'll bring a little more information back by finding close to the home that's any better than what we have, if it's worth it or not, but, we'll bring that next month. Workplace violence and sexual harassment training, we talked about this a little bit last month. I did reach out to the county. I did ask them to provide us with the training video. So it is a video that they pre-recorded. She sent me the link to this. It's only good until April 1st. So what I'm gonna do, because this is for this year, and then they tweak
Okay.
it a little bit for each year, so it doesn't
Yeah.
have to be done every year. It's a $50 charge, which is nothing. So I do have the link, which I will forward to everybody. I'll get it to Tracy, and we'll have to send it around to every single person, planning board, zoning board, you know, Joan, or judges, everybody either has to have a certificate, or they have to watch this, which is 27 minutes, which is great, it's way down. And I actually did watch this thing myself to see what it was about. 27 minutes you have to listen to, you know, her talk about, you know, all the policy and what's going on. And then at the end, we either have to have a certificate that somebody's already attended somewhere else, or I have to have an email acknowledgement with the clerk. I'll probably have them send it to you, maybe. An email acknowledgement that they watched the video and they signed off on it themselves. And that's good enough for what they're doing.
Okay, so that explains what we talked about before, if they give you the video, so it's gonna be streaming.
So it's a streaming video. We just
Yeah.
click the link, watch the video, and then send an email to the clerk. And I'll put the instructions down when I send it to everybody. They just send back that they watched it, or they have a certificate somewhere else. But for,
Okay,
you know, for anybody that just wants to watch it or sign off on it, it's very simple. So that'll take care of our training for the year.
Yep. Great.
And that $50 bill, I believe, was in the abstracts tonight.
Yes.
I believe so. Okay, new business. It was brought up last month about appointing a code enforcement deputy. We talked about this briefly. We said we'd like to try to meet the person that was interested. We did have her come in Thursday night. I sent an email to whoever could make it. Lindsay showed up, Bob showed up. I know you guys couldn't make it, but she showed up. We talked to her a little bit, called an interview. We discussed it with her, had a minor interview, I would say. Blythe Harkins, which is the daughter of Sam Harkins, which is our building inspector, is interested. She's sounded like she's interested in possibly pursuing this, you know, further, not just being the alternate. I don't know if she is taking the classes. So I don't have any issue with appointing her as the deputy. I don't know, Lindsay, you were there, if anybody else wants to say anything, but as far as I'm concerned, I think we should go ahead and appoint her as the deputy if needed for backup.
So moved.
Okay?
Second, I
Sorry.
heard that again.
Blythe Harkins?
Right, and,
Blythe?
yeah, I
Okay.
got that, but
As a deputy code
a
enforcement
motion
officer.
to appoint her. Aye.
Bob and Lindsay.
Lindsay.
Okay, all right.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Yeah, she's actually been going out with Sam since she was this high.
Okay. Resolution for the abandoned property. Mr. Nolan's here. We do have a resolution I forwarded to the town attorney. He took a look at it. He took the information, put it into our form of a resolution. This resolution is to, I think we're all familiar with discussing Chris Nolan's
Yeah.
property, the little strip along the road that needs to be turned over. He basically spelled it out for us, and I guess we probably should read this resolution. Tracy, you want to give us a little?
Maybe you don't have all the attachments.
Well,
Tracy.
let's give you a copy of it if you want. We don't have the mapping on it,
That's what I said, that's what I'm saying.
but
These aren't labeled the way it's written in however it's written in the resolution now, but this is the same map that I have before.
okay.
Oh, I have a copy, oh, that's the one that's the,
That's the one that Andy drew up for consideration tonight. The only thing I don't know if you were aware of, this qualified for permissive referendum. So we pass it tonight, we pass the resolution tonight, we advertise it, as long as nobody objects, after 30 days, it's done. You're all set. So, but he's got that wording right in here, so we'll see
so
that.
I have 3 copies of that map.
Okay. Which one
It's
is
the
it?
hatched part.
This is exactly what we looked at. This is that's finally drawn up, fine, the version.
It's the exact same map.
Yeah, okay.
And this hatched portion is what we're abandoning?
Yes. It's directly across the street from the mushroom barn.
Okay.
Why don't we let Tracy read the resolution and then we'll have a discussion.
Okay.
Town of Claremont resolution, at a regular meeting of the town board of the town of Claremont, Columbia County, New York, duly held on the first day of March 2021, at the town of Claremont Town Hall, 1795 Route 9, Claremont. The following resolution was proposed. Whereas in 1949, the town of Claremont and the county of Columbia executed a right-of-way taking of land from landowners Joseph W. and Julia M. Ross as part of the Common Roads Improvement Project, hereinafter known as the work, described on map number 4, R2, parcels 1 and 2, Claremont Stalls Bridge, Dykeman Gravel Bank Road. Attached is Exhibit A of this document and its related deed filed as Library 291, page 8 in the Columbia County Clerk's Office. And whereas the work was completed.
Excuse me for 1 second. I have a copy of the map that's referred to there. Do you want those?
I don't think we can go.
I gave it to you before anyway.
Yeah, I don't know if we have, if not, maybe I will take one copy.
I think I referred to it as a exhibit.
All right, if you have it, yeah, we can put on file then. Anyway, if there's any questions, anybody contacts me, on file this one.
All
Sorry.
right.
Thank you.
Whereas the work was completed over 65 years ago, leaving certain portions of the land previously taken in 1949 unused. Whereas the successor landowner of the subject Ross property, Christopher A. Nolan III, has petitioned the town board to release and quit claim to a certain portion of the original taking, further described in a survey and meets and bounds description attached to this resolution as Exhibits B and C. Whereas the town highway superintendent has reviewed the subject area and has no plan for its use in the future. Now therefore be it resolved that the town board determines that the subject land as described in Exhibits B and C is excess surplus land that can be abandoned and revert back to the landowner, subject to the landowner paying for all surveying, legal, and filing costs. And be it further resolved that the town supervisor, in consultation with the town attorney, is authorized to execute a quitclaim deed returning title of the subject area to owner, and be it further resolved that this resolution is adopted subject to a permissive referendum pursuant to Town Law 64 and Town Law 90. Want me to go?
That's fine, that's fine. So, as Andy explained to me, this is subject to permissive referendum. If we pass this resolution, we advertise it on the website, 30 days pass, if nobody objects, it automatically is adopted, it's done. If there's a problem, somebody objects, comes forward, then we have to take a look at it, and we can look into it further, but I don't think this is going to be an issue. Pretty sure we won't hear anything, and once this passes, as of April 1st, Chris can proceed to take over and do what he needs to do.
The lot line consolidation that we talked about.
There you go. Is there any other questions or comments on this issue? I
I
think
just want
we
to
beat
note
this
further
down.
that the meets and bounds description is on that plan, but it's fairly difficult to read, so I've asked Marie Welch to make it more customary on an 8.5 by 11.
Okay. I sent this to the attorney, he obviously looked it over, had no problem, he's the one who put this resolution together, he said, we have no problem proceeding unless we had an issue or questions on it, so.
So it's actually, it's a multi-step process, right? We pass the resolution, and then we wait 30 days, and then the quitclaim can be done, and whatever else has to be done is done later, right?
Yeah, this is our part of it, once this passes, it's adopted, and then he's allowed to go forward, yes.
After the 30 days or whatever the time limit is, then this is authorizing you to sign the quitclaim deed. And then I record it, someone records it at the council. So then I own it completely.
Then you can move forward. Move forward with no restrictions, correct? Anybody have any other comments, questions?
No?
No, Chris, you set up you put some money in with the zoning board for your other project, right? For
Right.
escrow?
Right.
So presumably we can take Andy's fees out of that same escrow, or you want to set up another
You'll
one?
notice what I wrote in the resolution, which answers your question.
I have the resolution that Andy prepared, I don't.
Well, it's.
Right,
it's
it's saying that the
substantially more
landowner will
language.
pay for all surveying, legal, and filing costs.
Yeah, I guess I'm just asking where, if you want that taken out of that escrow, or you want to transfer it?
No, the escrow is for the other action.
Okay. So whenever we get the bill, we'll just
Good.
let you know.
Well, you got 30 days to bill me, right?
Okay.
All right.
No, this was he substantially,
He changed it.
he changed this very slightly and added that last paragraph about the
Referendum.
referendum.
He said it is required, I'm not gonna question him, I think, what he says, but again, it's really not, I don't think it's before any issues, we'll get on 30 days, but you've been working on this for what, 2 years, so I think
Yeah, it hasn't been that long, has it, Chris?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, it's-
seems like it. All right, so we have a motion to proceed?
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
Motion by Chris,
Yep.
second by Bob. Probably should do a roll call vote on this. I'm sorry. Do a roll call vote. Do a roll call vote. So just,
It didn't sound like that.
yeah, I'm
You want
sorry.
to do?
We can all sign this.
Okay. So you go around the table. Councilman Desmond,
Aye.
Councilman Gildersleeve,
Aye.
Just like you-
Councilwoman Bronson,
Aye.
and Councilwoman Washer Shute.
Aye. Got it.
Okay. And,
Aye.
and.
Everybody said.
Okay.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Okay, we have a roll call vote anyway. All right, so it's on its way, Chris.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Intermunicipal agreement. The county sent me a request, since we haven't been meeting in person, we're doing everything over the phone. They have, every year, we usually do this and sign this in person. I don't usually get the town board's approval on it, but I'm just gonna run it by you and just have everybody sign off on it. Not sign off, but give me authorization to sign it. It's just a municipal agreement between the county and each individual town. Every supervisor signs it. They want my signature on file for any road work, bridge work, highway work that needs to be done in the county, in our town that the county would do. This just says, allows them the working capability to work in our town, and vice versa, if we need their help or something. So without reading this whole thing, that's basically all it amounts to, it's an intermunicipal agreement. I don't usually, like I said, run this by the board, but I just figured I would since I'm here, I'm gonna sign it. Anybody have any objections to that? It's pretty
No.
straightforward. All right. Just go right ahead.
It's separate from the one we signed between.
The 3 towns. Yeah, this is the county's version. They have to have this on file in order to work on our bridges and stuff, and they have to, but they do every year.
That
Okay.
includes Mill Road?
Yeah, right. Won't go there. All right, other than that, supervisor report, before we do that, new business, I do want to just go ahead and, we said we were gonna proceed with the sign purchase. We should
Yes.
make the motion and approve that in the meeting. So I would like to just figure out who we're approving the money to.
It's the monkey and the mule.
Monkey and the mule, that is what it is. I was
Yeah.
really a question that.
That's it.
So we're approving,
Their business, yeah.
and that's going to be the $1,555? Is that the total she has on page
So
here?
we
No.
would approve, I believe it's.
Separated.
Who is it
Right.
from? $1,000, is that?
Which one you're accepting?
So there are 2 purchases that would need to be made. One would be, I believe we preferred the Duchess Signs PVC for
Okay,
the actual sign, and then, the estimate from Monkey and the Mule, I believe was $1,000 for labor and,
9:30, I see on the top of the
9:30 on
page.
here.
So
and.
Monkey and Mule is
um,
not making the sign?
They are making the post and installing the post, and they're making, sort of the core of the sign, and then PVC will be attached to that.
Okay,
is my
I don't
understanding.
remember that. We had a discussion about that.
Yeah, that's right.
We need to hear.
So we do Duchess, so Monkey and Mule was 9:30, and Duchess Sign was 6:25, is that correct? Is that good? That's gets us to 1555.
Yeah, exactly. So we would approve the $1,000 for the Monkey and the Mule expense, it'd probably be less than that, and then, I guess,
All right, so we make a
or we can
motion.
just do $555 for the whole thing and then.
However it falls.
Why don't we separate our motion, up to $1,000 for Monkey and Mule for the sign, and up to $625 for Duchess signs.
So moved.
$1625, not to exceed $1625, out of the park line, 7110.4.
So moved.
And second.
7110.41.
And it's Dutchess sign.
Duchess sign for $625, and Monkey and the Mule not to exceed 1,000.
You have that?
That's a lot of money for a monkey to do.
Must be an expensive monkey.
You should see where he lives. Lindsay and I went in there. He's in off of County Route 6, like, you go in like a dirt path, practically. He's literally in the middle of the woods there.
Lindsay made the motion. Anybody, no, Dawn made the
I
motion.
made the
Wait a second.
Yep.
I did.
Lindsay seconded it.
And then we need to,
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Okay. That's that.
Thank you.
great.
Okay. Supervisor report. I don't really have anything to talk about. It's so difficult with these Zoom meetings. I really hate it. I can't wait till the county gets back to regular meetings because I don't get the. I just don't like it. But the COVID update, things are starting to flow a little better. I know Johnson Johnson just came out with an approval. People are getting shots quicker, faster. Seems like ShopRite, CVS, places like that have the shots available. That's where my mother had to get in, ShopRite. But they are starting to get more doses delivered. The county is still lagging. I mean, we're just still having a problem getting the amount of doses we need for the county. All over the state. I mean, it's everywhere, all over. But it is starting to pick up. I mean, more and more people are getting vaccinated. The rate is dropping. All we can say is we hope we're heading in the right direction. I think we are. And it's just going to take several months before it really takes effect. Herd immunity is not going to happen until the summertime probably. But it's just
They don't make it easy for you to, I know, actually ShopRite was fairly easy.
One of the easier ones.
Went in there and you put our names on the list and they schedule it. And then they had to reschedule it because of weather-related issues. They didn't get the vaccine, so we just got the shot this past Friday. So I tried to get my daughter on it because she's eligible because of a health condition. And she got a letter from the doctor. And they said that they cannot, they're prohibited from doing anybody under 65,
Right.
regardless of what condition.
Right, people with comorbidities, they're supposed to go to your county Department of Health. Columbia County last week advertised on Thursday, I saw it too late, they had 100 doses for Friday. And now they're saying, the website's gotten a little bit better, but not much, that they will post their pods on Tuesday or Wednesday mornings between 10 and 11. But they don't know how many they're gonna get.
It's just,
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
I'm ready to take them to Syracuse.
Post their what on Tuesday?
They're calling them pods, point of distribution, right? So on Tuesday and Wednesdays between 10 and 11, they'll post any appointments that they have
This is for
available.
the Columbia.
For the
Health?
county Department of Health, yeah.
and it's frustrating. I mean, I know everybody's frustrated. It's really slow rollout, and it's going to take a while. I know I've been arguing in the county level that our highway department is not considered essential. Now, how do you live in the Northeast and not consider your highway department essential? I mean, the county, the whole entire county highway department, towns, all the towns are not eligible for the shot. Now, God forbid, we had a storm and they were all
Yeah.
sick. I mean, what are you gonna do? Tell me that's not essential? You can't get out you can't get on the road.
Right.
I've been arguing this, and the county has appealed to the state, but the governor has not officially said they're essential, so we can't put them on the list. I just don't agree with that, but luckily we're at the end of
I know
winter.
for whatever it's worth, the,
I think he got it through someplace else.
the Albany Med reports their COVID patients in the hospital, and they have been reporting for a couple of weeks now significant declines. So things are improving.
Yes.
So I think that's a good sign. So regardless of the vaccine, things are improving.
They are.
And that may be attributed to those who've already received the vaccine. I don't know.
I do believe it's, you know, I do believe the masks obviously keep people, as long as they continue, are helping. I mean, look at how many colds and flus you see
Right,
people
you
with.
don't hear
Nobody-
anything about
There's
the
nothing
flu.
this
Right.
year. I mean, a lot of the flus have been, you know, they lump everything together with COVID, but it's just been very minimal because all the germs are down. I mean, it's definitely making a difference.
Yep.
So, I mean, the more people get vaccinated, obviously, the more, you know, it helps also.
Yeah, yeah.
It's just, you know, we made it this far, we just have to be a little more careful for another 3 or 4 months, and I think everybody will be in pretty good shape by the end of summer.
Yep.
I don't think it's gonna take that long, but unfortunately.
I think things are moving in the right direction. I think that's important for people to realize who are really sick and tired of.
Frustrated.
Yes, exactly. Things are moving in the right direction.
Johnson & Johnson, one shot, one
Yes.
also.
Yeah, they
So
said they were
they're
worried it
giving it
wasn't,
very high marks.
they were worried it wasn't quite as effective, but it's 100%, I think it's 100% effective keeping you out of the hospital and keeping you
Yeah,
alive.
yeah.
So, you know, if you get a little sick and you know, you don't die from it, I mean, you know, let's face it, we all went through cold and flu season. You know, if we can, just get rid of the stuff that's causing, the deaths is, the main thing, so. But yeah, so I just wanna encourage people to stay positive because it's just a little longer and I think we'll finally get over the hill here.
Yep.
Other than that, I don't really have much, to report on.
Excuse me, can I ask you a question?
Sure.
Is there anyone in this town who has died from COVID?
I'm not aware of. Is there anybody that knows anybody that's died?
In the county, yes.
In the county,
but,
absolutely.
Yeah, I don't know about,
Yeah,
I
not
don't
that we
know.
know of.
Not that I know of.
I think early on, we had some death certificates to do, but it wasn't specified. That was into last year, really.
Yeah.
It wasn't specified if they had the coronavirus or not.
It is around. People have been sick. We know
Yes.
several people
Oh,
have
yeah.
been sick. but,
Yeah,
Yep.
we've had people sick, definitely.
Okay, other than that, move on to pay abstracts, I guess.
I'll make a motion that we pay prepaid general, abstract number 3, vouchers 43 through 45, in the amount of $308.96.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Bob second.
Carried.
Speak up, Bob.
Move that we pay highway abstract number 3, vouchers number 10 through 20, in the amount of $15,835.48.
Second?
Second by Chris, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
I make a motion to pay general abstract 3A, vouchers number 46 through 71, in the amount of $6,050.71.
Second?
Motion by Chris, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Okay. Public comment? Public comment from the public attendees? Attendee? No public comment. Okay, one last thing I would like to discuss something in executive session. This we'll have no other business after the meeting, just a discussion about contract negotiation. So that's a
So
motion.
if I leave, nobody has to get up?
That would be preferable, thank you. Can I get a motion to go to executive session?
So moved.
Hurry.
I'll
Second?
second.
Lindsay, second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
1 second.
Arnold.